And at a certain point, our captain, which was an exceptional good player, he came to me and he was Dutch. And he said to me from, hey, Fred, this young boy you find in the youth, he's good, he's good.
Frederic De Boever, goalkeeping coach at AS Monaco, formerly coach of Senne Lammens at Club Brugge. Thank you very much indeed for joining.
Steve, thank you very much for the invite. It's a pleasure to talk to you and that we get to know each other.
As I just touched upon, you have a lot of experience from Club Brugge, working with Senne Lammens. You joined in 2019.
Yeah,
I believe
correct. Summer 2019.
Senne was already at the club, I think, since 2014. Did you know about him before you joined?
Actually, not really, to be honest. In the years previous, I was working in Asia. I worked in Singapore national team. Then I went 1 year to Qatar to the Aspire Academy. And when I received the offer to join Club Brugge, initially it was to work with the second team and to become the head of their goalkeeper department. But with some conversations with the head coach at that time, yeah, they decided that they gave me the opportunity to work for Club Brugge first team. And I had no knowledge about Senna at that time. So when I was speaking to the head of the academy at that time to make the transfer, they gave me some other names that they recognized as really high potentials. But the name of Senne Lammens was honestly never mentioned at that time. It doesn't mean that they didn't recognize his potential, but yeah, they did mention it at that time in the 2, 3 meetings that we had.
Okay. So when did you first become aware of him?
I think after 6 to 8 weeks in the preparation, we needed some goalkeepers, and we had some guys who were unavailable. And then I was talking to the guys of the youth from, okay, what goalkeepers do you have that can join us for a training session? And at that time, they gave the name of Senne from, okay, he's available. He's here in Bruges right now. He can join the training session. And he had already in the past maybe a couple of training sessions with Club Brugge first team. So they say, okay, he can do that one session. And I still remember very well that after the session, I said to myself, oh, this looks promising. This is quality. And at that time, after the training session, I went to the office of the head coach, which was at that time Philippe Clément, former Ranger manager also. And I say, Coach, is it possible that we can start working with Sen in the first team? And he say, yeah, what do you think that you want to do this? I say, I recognize certain things. I like his behavior, like the attitude. I would like to work with this boy on daily basis. And straight away, Philippe said from Frederic, if you want, you take him, you work with him. And history is made by this.
So what were those certain things that you saw in him in our first session?
Yeah, I'm not going to talk about technical details, but for me, everything started with personality of this young boy, because he was 17. He gave me such a calm impression. The first impression was from, hey, relax, I will do this today, and was fantastic to see. He gave me also the impression that he was very, very eager to learn. He was really open-minded, but at the same time he was shy. He was not talking, and he was not saying anything special. But I like the personality from the start. Also his body language, the natural movement, what I saw in that first training session, and the quality was already very decent. Yes, every goalkeeper coach that works with someone will recognize certain topics that they say, oh, this is quality, but for sure. With him, you saw overall that he had all aspects already for a modern goalkeeper, and that was for me a kind of feeling that I said from I really would like to work with this boy at that time.
In general, as a goalkeeper coach, is that the best way to impress you with personality at the very start?
Yes, yes. At the start, for me, in life, you only have one opportunity to make a first impression. And in first impression, for me, it's about your personality. How do you deal with a certain situation? And I'm not even talk about pressure. I'm just saying from how do you deal with a certain situation? What is your approach with the person that you just meet? And how interested are you? Do you show the interest also? And that was for me very, very impressive of what I saw from Sen at that time.
How early can you form an impression, I suppose, of how far a young goalkeeper can go?
Um, that's a tricky question. That's a difficult
Yeah,
question.
there's so many
I don't think.
variables, I know.
Yes, and I don't think this is a black-white situation. For sure, every goalkeeper coach has his own topics which are important for him. Every goalkeeper coach has his own experience, and they all have their certain methodology. And I think what was important for me at that time is that I recognized a lot of things that would fit the methodology what I prefer as a goalkeeper, to see in a goalkeeper. So it's difficult to give you in one sentence and really detailed answer, but I can give you some steps which are for me really important. What the reason is that Senne could make this kind of steps in his career. And I think for me, first of all, it was, the first step was that I identified at that moment his potential. That I went at that time to the coach to ask from, look, can he as a 17-year-old boy start working with the first team? Because you have to know, Steve, that we skip one step because at that time he was under 18. He was not a part of the group of the second team in Bruges, and he goes straight away to the first team. So we skipped a step at that time. So I think that was a very important first step for him, to receive that opportunity to show himself and not to wait with the under 18s to go to the second team and then hopefully to the first team. The second step for me was that he came in a really good environment to work on a daily basis, and I think that's a big that's a big applause for Club Brugge at that time. They had new facilities, new trainings facilities, which was
Right.
for me one of it was for sure the best in Belgium at that time, and even in Europe it was top, to be honest. For sure, Belgian club who can bring that kind of facilities, indoor and outdoor, it was impressive. To have the opportunity as a young boy to work in that facilities, you always step up. You are more even more motivated to do the job. You have all possibilities on the pitch, quality pitches, but also the gym was quality. You had everything to do, video meetings. So he came in an environment which was top professional at that time, a couple of years ago. And then I think also he had at a certain point straight away the opportunity. He had the access to work at that time with fantastic goalkeepers. You have to know that on the moment that I arrived, it was also the moment that Senne stepped up from under 18 to the first team. But it was exactly the same moment that Simon Mignolet made the transfer from Liverpool going to Club Brugge. And to be honest, we all had the privilege to work with each other, but Senne, as a young boy working every day with Simon Mignolet, with Ethan Horvath, that was at that time also American international. If you can work with those guys, you steal with your eyes. And those two boys, those two goalkeepers were at that time a true example of professionality on and off the pitch. And they brought amazing quality in training sessions. So if you're 17 and you can step up and you can work on daily basis with Simon and Ethan, yeah, that's a huge gift that you receive in your development. Not everybody can say this from a youth goalkeeper to work with that quality. So he stole with his eyes, to be honest, and he's intelligent. He took it straight away and he recognized the opportunity at that time. Um, the third one for me, which was vital at that time, was that we changed a lot of the methodology of goalkeepers. We went much more to details, not only technical but also tactical. So we brought it also on the pitch. Exercises were really game related. But we went also in that time, 5, 6 years ago, we went much more to dynamic exercises instead of only static exercises of goalkeepers. And it's of course something completely different. But I think if you talk to Senne, do you remember the goalkeeper aerobic work you did in Bruges? He will straight away he will start laughing. I'm 100% sure because it was something new for him, the aerobic work for goalkeepers. But at the same time, he became an all-round athlete also to do this kind of work. So this was really important. Another key moment was that we took a lot of time to to work and to talk video images. Every game, training sessions, certain topics of other goalkeepers. We took the opportunity to talk about it, and at that time we created a really good base about being game intelligent as a goalkeeper. And Senne is hugely intelligent, and he took straight away. He absorbed everything, and that was for me one of the crucial points of his talent. That he's so open-minded to and eager to learn that he absorbed everything. And we were talking about for us then the 4 pillars about goalkeeping. It is about positioning. It's about game reading, recognizing the situation, but it's at the same time also about decision making. What decision do you take on the moment that you recognize the situation? And then, of course, the fourth pillar is the execution. So we constantly, every game he played, we constantly were making the analysis, analytical about those 4 pillars. And it was not only a one-way direction from me as a coach to him, it was really a conversation. And he was asking question after question after question. What is good? What can I do better? And he started analyzing himself also better and better by using those 4 pillars. So he made a lot of progression about this. And then at the same time, what we did also is that we spend a lot of time on his individual work. I can remember that Club Brugge bought a really good ball machine, and we spent hours in front of the ball machine how to catch a ball straight away and not to use always 2 touches. So his ball handling was made at that time of practicing hours after hours. The block, the dynamic block, the static block in 1v1s, it became one of his signatures, to be honest, because he's really good in 1v1s. We worked for this for hours on and off the pitch, dealing with aerial balls, also talking about details, and we went really in details. It was not only just catching, but how are you going to catch? How are you going to assess the situation? And I think Senne is so intelligent that he took it straight away, that kind of behavior. So I think the step, to bring him in that kind of daily environment was for him vital. It was for him vital. And then at a certain point, I think that's the next step in the career. After you have made a progression in training session, then it's to deliver top performances on correct moments. And that is for me also a crucial part, which he did excellent in his career so far. Not only in Bruges, but also in Antwerp. And I think more recently with Man United, where everybody was watching, he performed already in very hard, difficult circumstances to make a debut. But he did it again. But he did it also for Antwerp. He did it also for Club Brugge. And that shows quality. That's something that you cannot discuss. And then, for me, the fifth choice is okay, what are the steps in your career? What is the choice of the clubs, of the coaches that you work with? How do you surround yourself? I talk about managers, I talk about your friends. All those things. I think everything has to come together. And a lot of times a goalkeeper makes himself, Senne is for me an example that he's a self-made goalkeeper because everybody who worked with him on and off the pitch, everybody who surrounded him in his daily life, made Senne Lammens, to be honest. So it's very difficult as a coach to say, yeah, but I recognize this and he can go all the way. It's very difficult. It's very difficult. It's such a big process and it takes so much time that everything must fit on the correct moment together. Long answer on your question.
It's a very long answer, but it's a wonderful answer. It's such a rich answer with so much detail. But the thing that came to me there is it's kind of a perfect storm timing wise for Senna because he's benefiting from obviously new coach, new facilities, etc., new methodologies at that stage in his career. So you would have had, or the situation would have had a better or greater, deeper impact on him at his stage than it would on Simon Mignolet, for instance.
hmm yeah, I think both guys, if you compare them, they are on a different stage of their career, of course. Simon saw everything when he came back to Bruges, and it was performing at that time. With Senne, it was not straight away performing, it was making progression. And I think if you talk about training sessions, and that's in my humble opinion, there's a difference to work with a goalkeeper who has to perform or to work with a goalkeeper who can make and who has to make progression. I think that are two different situations. I can give you a really good example in Club Brugge also. At that time, Senne, he was competing and working with someone who was also a really high potential in Club Brugge at that time, 1 year older. And we knew, okay, both have potential, but we have to find out how we can work with them at the same time to make progression and to perform. And at that time, it was the first season that the second team of Club Brugge had the privilege to play with their young boys in the second division, professional division in Belgium. And we made a deal with the boys and also with the club that I proposed from, look, 2 weeks, Senne will be third choice goalkeeper in with the first team, and he will join us in the warm up. He see how we do it. He see how the boys are preparing this themselves. And the other 2 weeks, the other high potential will do exactly the same. But then Senne, he will still train every day with the first team. But at that time, we're gonna spend much more individual work on the training pitch to work on the details where he can still make progression. And at the same time, he had to play those 2 games with Club Next. So there he became performer. He became performer, and at the same time, when he was third choice, we did a lot of individual work. We did a lot of video. We spent the time individual together, one on one, on the pitch also to continue to working on. I'm not going to say weaknesses because I don't like the word weaknesses. If you work with someone, it's more the point to make progression. So we really cut it in two his month, and it was 2 weeks performing as a goalkeeper and 2 weeks progression as goalkeeper, and it worked out really well for him. This kind of setup. So in that sense, I think he benefited a lot. And then you see the potential of someone like Senne. Yeah, he stepped up really fast because he was in a perfect environment, and he took over because at a certain point he started with me as fifth choice. He became fourth. He became third. He became second, and that was at that moment the maximum he could have it in Club Brugge when I was there and I arrived in Bruges. So in a period, in a window of let's say 1 year and a half, he became from number five, he became number two with me, and that was in 1 season and a half, I think. And that's huge. That's remarkable. That's amazing, to be honest.
You mentioned obviously that he skipped a step when he stepped up to first team training. How was that received by the outfield players? Because obviously they're used to working with more senior pros, and then suddenly they have a 17-year-old in goal. Did it raise eyebrows amongst them?
Um, I like the question, to be honest, because I have a good story about this. That in the beginning, everybody, yeah, a young goalkeeper, for sure, the experienced players, they want to test him, and they go to finishing. Oh, we will make some goals now. It will be nice. They go to some small-sided games, and everybody, the young boy, we're gonna score, and we're gonna show how good we are. And at a certain point, Senne, yeah, he proved himself. To be honest, he showed his quality. Still had some minor issues, but his quality is that he's not afraid to make a mistake. He wants to learn, and he takes his responsibility. And you saw that from minute number one. And at a certain point, our captain, which was an exceptional good player, he came to me, and he was Dutch, and he said to me from, "Hey, Fred, this young boy you find in the youth, he's good, he's good." And on a moment that someone who saw everything in his career comes to a goalkeeper coach and he says from this young boy, it's difficult to score against him. If they say it to you, then you know enough. Then that's the best conclusion you can have. If they say nothing, okay, it doesn't mean that it's negative. But if they come at you, if they take the step to talk to a coach and they say from this boy, "Phew,
Yeah.
not easy to score against him," then you receive golden information, to be honest. And that was the moment. At that moment, it happened. So you knew enough.
You mentioned Senna was very open-minded and I suppose almost like a sponge in terms of information, learning from yourself, from analytics, etc. And was that the case with the senior goalkeepers with Simon and Ethan? Was he always picking up things from them as well? And I
Yes.
suppose were they? I mean, they obviously had their own agendas, their own careers, but were they also mindful of maybe helping the next generation as well?
200%, to be honest. At that time, I had four amazing goalkeepers. I had the huge privilege to work with all four of them. And it was for me very satisfying to see how they combined, how they worked together, how they made each other better, or how they keep each other sharp at that moment. There was a really good vibe between the four. Like you mentioned, everybody has his own ambitions, his own agendas. But on the pitch, everybody came together and everybody worked and helped each other. And I have to be honest, Ethan and Simon, they shared a lot with the young boys, not only with Senne, to be honest. Every young boy that came from the academy to do a training session with us, he was always welcome. They trained, they gave them a warm feeling. They were helping each other. And I think that was also vital in the step that Senne took in his career, that he had the opportunity to work with guys who were open-minded to help also. So no, was top, was amazing. Yeah. Yeah, and that was not only on the pitch, to be honest, that was also
Right.
off the pitch. How to prepare yourself. Also nutrition-wise, we did a lot of work, and I don't talk about myself, but it was a nutritionist who worked with him together with the other goalkeepers. What you can do, how can you improve? Yeah, it was impressive, to be honest, to see all four together. I had really, really good memories about this. Yeah.
So Senna's appetite to learn was that did that extend to like the off-field areas like nutrition and the gym and that kind of thing? Yeah, completely.
A lot, a lot. At that moment, I think Senna is starting to realize that it not only happens on the pitch to take progression, but on the off the pitch you can do also a lot to make progression. And really fast he realized this, and that not only came from me. Yes, video-wise, it came from me, but everything about nutrition, everything about dealing with gym work, all those kind of things, mental preparation. We had in Bruges really good people who worked with him, but for sure also with the experience of Ethan at that time, but also from Simon, who saw the highest level in Premier League. They shared a lot, and Senna realized really fast from, oh, I have to do much more than only my job on the pitch. I have to make steps also off the pitch, and he did it. He did it in an impressive way.
In terms of his technical ability on the pitch, it's a bit reductive to say strengths and weaknesses because I know you don't like the word weaknesses.
Correct.
Um, Opportunity for progression. What
Yeah.
areas of potential progression did he have and did he work on?
Yeah, I think in the beginning for me, you saw that he was technically and tactically that the basic was really nice, but really fast you found details where we said from here we can improve, here we can bring in some details, and then I talk about the ball handling, for example, what I just mentioned already on that machine. He became really strong in this ball handling. We talk about 1v1s, how to make the block, what are the details, where do you have to be careful of, what is the timing to execute a block, when do you go for a 1v1, when do you stay deep. This is something we paid a lot of attention on. But one thing that I remember really, really well is that he was really calm with the ball on the feet, but everything was right foot. And one of the first moments when we spoke each other was I said from my friend, now we're gonna do a lot of work with the left foot. And we spent hours and hours together on the pitch or with another goalkeeper, where we didn't have an outfield session with the players, but that we just were with two, three people on the pitch and 1 hour, 1 hour and a half only feet work. And then it was, let's say, 80-20, 20 dominant foot and 80% less dominant foot. And there you see again the natural talent and the open-mindedness from Senne to start working on this and take it and take it and we go and we go and again it doesn't work, it doesn't matter, I do it again. And yeah, the use of both feet, it became in, let's say, in 12 months it became natural for him. And yeah, he didn't mind to start doing it in a game. Even when it was in second division in Belgium and it was on professional level, he did it. He was not afraid to make a mistake. I just do it. It's for my own good. I'm gonna do this. It's for my own progression. And once in a while, yes, he miskicked the ball. I don't care. I do it again. And that's yeah, that's one of the yeah, that's one of the big talents he has. He goes, and sometimes it will not work out. Okay, I don't care. I do it again. And that's that kind of open-mindedness, that kind of approach of situations, yeah, made him a goalkeeper that is an all-round goalkeeper because the things where he was, let's say, where he could make a lot of progression, he did it by doing it. And that's for me a huge quality because I also worked in the past with goalkeepers with huge potential from his age that were only focusing on their really quality items and that say, yeah, but I'm gonna avoid the work to make progression. I avoid this for sure in games because I don't want to make a mistake. And that makes the difference at the end. If young boys are open to make mistakes, then you make progression. But if you're always fearing making mistakes and you avoid that kind of situation, you're never going to learn, and then you stay at a certain level. So for me, that was for me a really good example, the use of both feet. And we made a lot of improvement also on what I said already in the interview, his game intelligence. The use of video was huge, and we always did it very analytical. How do you see your position in the situation? Is it good? Can it be different? How do you recognize the situation? How do you see this? Is this for you a 1v1? Is this for you a ball in the depth? How do you see this? And how are you going to make the decision based on what you see? And then the fourth pillar was, of course, the execution, where we spend a lot of time on details. But I think the analytical work with him, it helped a lot. And he took it really fast. And for sure, he will think still like this in those four pillars.
Just to go back to the point you made there about 12 months to become almost totally comfortable with either foot. Is that, from your experience, a normal time frame, or is that quicker or
No,
slower? No.
no, that's so quick. That's so quick. But
Yeah, it
again,
sounded it.
yeah, but that that's a combination of quality and natural talent. And if you can do this in this time frame, then you know that you have huge potential in hands, to be honest.